Welcome to Sports Talk with Steve Jones, the daily talk show with the voice of Penn State football and men's basketball. You never know what special guest may stop on by any given day. Now here's the man of the hour, Mr. Steve Jones.
And as always, we want to thank McClanahan's in downtown State College and the great items that they have down there. Look, you're going to be gearing up and you want to get the latest there. Adidas items. Penn State room at McClanahan's is the place to go.
And all I'm going to say is yesterday was Meatball Monday, Steve. That's all I'm going to say. I had my first of Meatball Monday.
Very nice.
Thank you. Thank you. I know you're proud.
Good for you.
Yeah.
That's great.
Steve Jones, I know it's been a little bit since I've been able to chat with you here live on the show, and there's been a lot going on. We'll get into the football. We'll start with football, if that's all right with you. We'll kind of get kicked off with the fact the NFL has enshrined 5 new members to the Hall of Fame. And I wanted to highlight the class. We've talked about them when it happened, when it was announced.
Sure.
Larry Fitzgerald, Adam Vinatieri, Luke Kuechly, Roger Craig, and Drew Brees.
Yeah.
They officially all got inducted into the NFL Hall of Fame in Canton on Saturday. Again, I just want to shout them out again. They all got in. They're all Hall of Famers. You can't take that away. That they're in the Hall of Fame.
Mm-hmm.
And there's been some really weird debates about how big an athlete is to their team. It's been brought up, the idea of Drew Brees not meaning a lot to New Orleans, or because he basically said they trusted him with New Orleans and he hopes he gave his all for them. And
look, there are a lot of words that are wasted.
Mm-hmm.
In this world, they're wasted on talk shows, First Take. I mean, there are a lot of words wasted over and over again. Talk for the sake of talk. Words written for the sake of writing. But I always go back to the legendary president, Theodore Roosevelt, who talked about the man in the arena. And the man in the arena is the one that goes through everything. Pros, cons, the ups, the downs, and yet has the ability to come out on the other side. And these Hall of Famers have done that. So let's start with Drew Brees. The New Orleans Saints were a low to midland franchise. And Bobby Hebert elevated them. There's no question, along with others. I think it's Sam Mills and people like that. They were able to play well for them. And Drew Brees was off to really, I thought, a good start in San Diego until he got hurt. And then when he got hurt, and Phillip Rivers was going to be the choice, he could have signed with the Dolphins with Nick Saban as the coach, but he didn't pass the physical. So he ends up going to New Orleans. The Saints then did something that was, to be frank with you, unthinkable, I think, to many when they did it. They won a Super Bowl. And I remember the Saints being the joke of a franchise from day one, because I was alive when they started out.
People wore bags on their heads.
I was 9 years old when they started as a franchise. And, they were an expansion team. You expect that to happen. But they never, even when they had, Archie Manning ran for his life with that team. The fact that he could help them win a Super Bowl and was the reason behind it, the leader behind it, to go with all the other records that he has along the way that made New Orleans competitive year in and year out, he was an obvious choice to be a Hall of Famer. Every position needs to be represented in a hall. Kickers don't get their just due, yet they put points on the board.
They win games. They end games. Literally, there's sometimes the people who touch the ball last in a game. In the case of Adam Vinatieri, he did it multiple times in the biggest game and was the last one to hit it.
He hit 2 game-winning field goals in Super Bowls. He hit the game-winning field goal to get them through a playoff game with the Raiders in a driving snowstorm. He tied the game, then won the game. He did it with Indianapolis. and had a great career. He scored a lot of points. The last I checked, when you looked at the scoreboard, points are the reason that you end up winning the game. Luke Kuechly sacrificed his body left and right for the Carolina Panthers. I think his career was cut short because of it. But he was somebody that threw his heart and soul into every play, tracked down every play that he could, had a great feel and a read for the game on the field, and had the athleticism to do it. He was a standout player on a team that didn't have a lot of standouts in his time there. He was absolutely incredible. Larry Fitzgerald was one of the great clutch receivers ever. Maybe not blazing speed, but enough. He caught everything around him. He made an offense go along with, especially when they had Kurt Warner, because they didn't have a lot. Believe me, they didn't have a lot around him there. And Fitzgerald was a great player at Pitt. Now, what you do at college doesn't enter into what you do to get to the Pro Football Hall of Fame, but he was a great player at Pitt and had a phenomenal career with Arizona over and over and over again. When you are the guy that in the scouting report must be stopped. See, all these guys I'm talking about, except for Vinatieri, as a kicker,
you can't really
do that.
There.
But Luke Kuechly was the guy every game you had to block. He was number one on the offensive scouting report, and most times they couldn't do it. Drew Brees was the number one guy in the scouting report. Couldn't stop him. Every once in a while, maybe.
Yeah.
Right? Larry Fitzgerald was the number one guy on everybody's scouting report.
You couldn't stop him.
Right? And couldn't stop him. And then you get to Roger Craig. Now, on that team, with Jerry Rice, with Joe Montana, he would not be the number one guy. Yet, you can't do what the 49ers did unless they had a great running back that was not only excellent at running the football, but also was an outstanding pass receiver for them. I mean,
it is the modern day football, and they were the team to do it.
He had 1,000 one year. 1,000 receiving, 1,000 rushing. Roger Craig should have been in the Hall of Fame years ago. And this is not, these are 5 deserving people. And anybody who writes or says something disparaging about any of them doesn't understand competition, doesn't understand the respect that each one of them had from their opponents. Because, again, each one of them was at the top of scouting reports. And believe me, hey, we got to slow Montana, we got to slow Rice. You don't think Roger Craig's name came up?
He's number 3, but that's because the first 2 guys are.
But we got to take that. We got to take him away. How do we do that? Right? And game in and game out, and in the biggest games, Roger Craig was a legitimately great player over and over again. And so these people are getting their just due for tremendous accomplishments in their career, and all of them have something else that is in common. Each one of them was a team guy. They were not individuals that showed up in their own limo while the other team rode the bus. They were team guys. What problems did Luke Kuechly cause in his career? He kept promoting everybody else around him. What problems did Larry Fitzgerald cause in his career? He promoted everyone around him. Drew Brees talked about everybody else but Drew Brees in the course of his career, unless he was specifically asked about a record. Right? Adam Vinatieri talked about, whether it's the Colts or the Patriots, all the time about the other people around him, how they put him in a position to be successful. And Roger Craig always talked about Montana, Steve Young, Jerry Rice, John Taylor, about the offensive line, over and over again. These were all great teammates that happened to be great players that never put themselves above the team. Each one has a deserved bust and kin.
And that's what I've loved seeing is all the Saints who came back and were there for Brees' induction. It was like, basically, if you played a year plus in New Orleans, you were there. You found yourself in Canton for this. Everyone from Jimmy Graham to Alvin Kamara, Michael Thomas to Jermon Bushrod and the guys who were there with Drew when he just got to New Orleans, like all of them from 2006 onwards. And of course, he had Sean Payton induct him. Like, I'll admit it, I cried. Drew Brees is part of the reason I am who I am here, because he was my sports fandom. Him and Derek Jeter are the two people I watched most when I was growing up and who I wanted to cover and talk about. And so seeing him go into the Hall, like it meant a lot. And you could see it did across New Orleans. Every single place had Drew Brees stuff all weekend. I know in Canton they did a Legends Day where there was like a Raising Cane's. It was Drew Brees and it was Willie Roaf, and it was a bunch of the Saints Hall of Famers kind of came together and did an event. And it's in, mind you, Canton, Ohio on a Friday morning. And it was like 500 Saints fans were there because they were like, I wanted to see Drew Brees get inducted, and just filled a parking lot at 8 a.m. to possibly maybe meet him or see him. Like, it's just awesome.
Well, yeah, it's fitting. Michael Monty, of course, you know, we can't say enough about Michael. Michael played with the Saints. He told me once, and I've told you this story before, but it's worth repeating since it fits the moment, that when he was with the Saints, he went in on a Saturday and at noon, day before a game, and Drew Brees was out on the practice field going through the entire scripted playbook for the week, things that could possibly come up. And he was out there doing his reads out there on each one. Okay, here's play 12. Goes through his reads, his progressions. Okay, here's play 14. He went through all of them out on the field by himself, which is the ritual he had every Saturday.
I think it was Michael Thomas or Alvin Kamara posted a video basically that happening. He was just there at the end of a practice field doing it himself.
Right, all by himself, because that level of preparation of never taking your talent for granted. That I have talent. I mean, look, his arm, his natural ability to really see all the chess pieces on the field, but to not take it for granted. And that's what the great ones have. It's the ones that don't quite get to the Hall of Fame that you know are tremendously talented, that at some point or another took their talent for granted. In other words, you know, I can just get by showing up. Right? Then there's the Drew Breeses of the world that are meticulous in their preparation because they don't want to fail. They don't want to let their teammates down. They don't want to let the organization down. And above all, they don't want to let the fans down. And Drew Brees was like that, and which is an example, all of the guys in this Hall of Fame class are all like that. So.
Oh, yeah. Some players eligible for the 2027 Hall of Fame, the first-timers. We'll go through that list real quick. Some players on this list include Rob Gronkowski, who I think has a pretty good shot to get in first time. He's one of the better tight ends of all time.
Sure, I mean, him up there. Excellent player, no doubt.
You've got Malcolm Jenkins, Gerald McCoy on defense.
Jenkins is interesting because Jenkins with the Saints and the Eagles was one of those guys, you know, out of Ohio State, that where he went, winning followed. And he was a part of it. That's interesting. McCoy was just a terrific defensive tackle for Tampa Bay.
Oh, yeah. On the other side of the ball, staying in the division, the NFC South, Cam Newton on the offensive side. He's eligible. I don't think he's going to get in.
I don't think he'll ever get in.
No.
To be honest with you. He had a really good window of play.
But it wasn't.
But for example, longevity. When we talk about Drew Brees, we're talking about the longevity of the career. Right? Newton had a window where he was really unstoppable, but the problem was it was a window.
And the difference is, in a short window, it's good if you're Luke Kuechly, who had 8 years of dominance.
Yes.
Where he was great for 8 straight seasons, and that was it.
Just like Terrell Davis.
Other players eligible include Adrian Peterson. He's got a pretty good case.
I mean, look, he'll get there. I don't know. I don't know if some of the off-the-field stuff hurts him, at least in terms of like delaying it. But on the field, it's obvious.
I'll say on the field, it's obvious he is. I'm just pulling up the stats, I believe.
And Peter King, when I've talked to him about the Hall of Fame, and he no longer has a vote because he's not part of the media anymore. But you told me, he says, look, he says, you try to take all the off the field stuff and you just put it to a side. He said, I only wanted to vote about here what he did on the field.
And Adrian Peterson is 5th all-time career rushing. He's only behind, of course, Emmitt Smith, Walter Payton, Frank Gore, and Barry Sanders.
Yeah.
And Adrian Peterson, number 5, of course, 2,000-plus yard rusher. Along with him, Ben Roethlisberger is up for the Hall of Fame this year. Steelers fans, be excited. He has a chance to get in.
Well, I think he has a chance to get in. Now, look, for Roethlisberger, here's what the interesting part is about Roethlisberger. What have they been at quarterback since they left?
Awful.
Since he left. I mean, what has their offense been since he left?
Well, it's the same thing that happened with the Saints and Drew Brees. It was like Brees left, and all of a sudden it was like they've had Taysom Hill, they've had Derek Carr, they've had Jameis Winston, they've now got Tyler Shuck. Like, hopefully Shuck's great, but like as of now,
if you want, maybe the Saints could pick up Duck Hodges.
Maybe. I mean, hey, Steelers have a chance to have an incredible quarterback who played in Happy Valley be their quarterback for this coming season. You never know. Crazier things have happened.
I'm just saying that sometimes a guy's greatness is accentuated
when he's gone
by the moment they're not there.
Yes,
and everybody goes, "Geez, that guy really was good."
Big Ben again, some off the field issues, similarly as Adrian Peterson, but Big Ben again. There's a chance he gets in this coming year. Other players up on the list, 3 other players on this list here: Richard Sherman, Eric Weddle, and Andrew Whitworth. I tend to think Whitworth's got a good chance to get in.
Whitworth is on and off the field one of the best. Sherman was great. I mean, corner. Who's
Eric Weddle at safety again was
Weddle's a safety was really, really good.
Chargers,
but he's not
Ravens.
gonna get in this class. I mean,
there are a lot of other players in this class as well that are on this list. Of course, you have Le'Veon Bell, Antonio Brown, Joe Hayden, Dante Hightower, Ryan Kerrigan, Alex Mack, amongst others. Plus, of course, the returners who look like they might get in. You've got Jari Evans, Frank Gore, Torrey Holt, Eli Manning, Terrell Suggs, Reggie Wayne, Jason Witten, Darren Woodson, Marshall Yonda, and then, of course, Bill Belichick on the coaching side of things. So a lot of players who could get in this year.
Well, Belichick's going to get in this year.
I mean, we said he was going to get in first time last time, and we were wrong, Steve. So you never know.
But it's been exposed as to what happened, and so when that happens, there's a lot of like, what have we done here? Frank Gore is one of those consistent, and there's something to be said for consistency. He will make the Hall of Fame at some point.
At some point, he will get in.
I don't know if it's now, but he'll make it at some point.
When there's a year he's able to get in, he'll be there. Again, when you're in the top 5 all-time rushing, at some point you have to just get in based on that alone. Like that, at some point, it's going to carry you there.
Sure.
And then going on right now in the world of sports, and in the world of what's happening, the NFL, a lot of training camps are, of course, underway. A lot of players have been getting injured.
How? I mean, they don't hit. How? How are they getting hurt? That's what I want to know. I mean, Ray Didinger, we had Ray on the show yesterday, right? Ray's talking about what a joke training camp is now. I think they're only allowed to hit 8 days, something like that.
Yeah.
I think it's 8 days. Like, okay.
Like, just going through
don't know
everybody real quick. Like, just, like, name a team, Steve. Name a team.
No,
pick one.
Steelers.
Okay, scroll down to the Steelers injury report here. So, you've got Dante Kent was placed on the PUP list as of a few weeks ago.
Yeah, we knew about.
The Steelers placed Joey Porter Jr. on the active/PUP list again a couple weeks ago as well. And then you go down from there, and you've got other teams. Of course, the big ones that have been talked about, like the 49ers, of course, with the bajillion injuries. Apparently, Ricky Pearsall may not play this season. He's out for the year with a PCL injury that's been an issue.
Okay, I mean, let me say this. There are certain things that happen that are non-contact issues.
Yeah.
All right, for example, when you hurt a knee, I mean, Tony Rojas was not hit last year. Happened in practice. He wasn't hit. That happens all the time, unfortunately. All right, so, I mean, things like that do happen. It's just kind of sit back and
then you scroll up. Let's say Jonathan Greenard for the Eagles is out with a strained pectoral, out for a chunk of the season. You go on up. I know for the Saints,
few of the guys that play in September play in August.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the games, the preseason games. I mean, the first preseason game for the Steelers is Thursday night.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I don't know how Mike McCarthy handles it. I'm not going to pretend I sit there and watch the Dallas Cowboys preseason games. I don't watch any preseason games anymore. It just, they've kind of like, who the heck is that?
Like, I know the first preseason game was the Hall of Fame game.
I did watch the last 53 seconds.
Yeah,
when I got home from doing the spikes, and actually, it was Haynes King was very entertaining.
And spoiler, Haynes King, hamstring injury. This is going to be the game. It was going to be the Knicks opening night because they won, and it was going to be whatever team LeBron ended up.
Look, if you're the NBA, you're trying to get out of the gate and get people to watch. Well, that's a way to do it.
It is a way to do it.
I mean, it's just smart on the NBA's part. It's fine. They had, because they're in the same division, they play each other multiple times anyway. Yeah. So you can take one on opening night and get people interested in the start of a new league season. It's just smart marketing by the NBA.
Yeah, and so the Knicks are going to open up with the Sixers at 7 p.m. on opening night. The Celtics open up in Detroit at 3 p.m. with a triple header on NBC. And then Oklahoma City plays San Antonio in the nightcap. So 3 monster-level games for that one.
But again, this is it's smart on their part, and this is where the contract with NBC has made, I think, a big, big difference for them. I mean, the 20th of October is what, a Tuesday? So on a Tuesday, prime time in the afternoon at 3 o'clock, you have NBC carrying an NBA game.
It's pretty good.
Remember, in the 1980s when Bird and Magic came in,
tape delay.
Their first 2 championships, Magic in 1980 and Bird in 1981, the non-weekend games were on tape delay.
Yeah.
And now today, opening day on a Tuesday afternoon in October, NBC is carrying the Celtics and the Pistons.
Yeah.
Hey, that tells you about where the NBA is with its TV coverage. The contract, Adam Silver's made so many mistakes. Okay, after getting kind of a little bit of like we can't do anything wrong, and then all of a sudden they started doing a lot of things wrong over and over and over and over again. Then he got to the TV contract. He got it right because he got the money. He said we could triple it. They just about tripled it.
Yeah,
and he got NBC back in the mix, which was great to go with ABC, ESPN.
The Rams and Seahawks play at 8:15, and the Nuggets and Warriors play at 10:30.
They'll bury him.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I'm talking like for the NBA has now lost Christmas Day. It's still, they still schedule 5 games. This is also the same league that brilliantly didn't put Oklahoma City on Christmas Day, the year they won the championship. Right? Does anybody in your office understand who's good? I mean, like, really?
Yeah.
I mean, they won the title that year. Who wasn't on Christmas Day? Oklahoma City. What? Did we really do that? Yeah, you did.
So it is.
No, but now the NFL's taking it. The NFL, Christmas is a Friday this year. So the NFL is going to do a triple header.
Yes, they are.
Okay.
The games on the 24th, 25th, and 26th. All 3 days.
Okay. You know what the B in NBA means? Bye.
Yeah. So
bye.
That's going on the NBA side of things. Just a lot happening. I know Steve Jones talked a lot about baseball. The trade deadline has now come and gone.
Well, very quickly on baseball, the Judge of the Month Club has once again taken the forefront in Little League.
I was going to say, so let's go.
Tulsa National Little League.
So I don't know exactly what was going on.
They allegedly have an ineligible player.
So I'll read through this. So on Monday, Little League International announced in a statement the Tulsa team had been removed from the Southwest Regional Tournament. Right. In declaring Tulsa's previous game a forfeit, the association said to uphold the integrity of the international tournament and provide an opportunity for every team, community, and most importantly, child to have a fair and equitable experience. They rely on adult volunteers and parents to adhere to the rules, regulations, and operating policies. They're committed to supporting all children impacted by this decision and will continue to provide support and administrative guidance to the families of the Tulsa National Little League team.
So they went to a judge, the Judge of the Month Club. Right? Found a friendly one. And guess what? They're back in the tournament. Judge Ryan Luna of the 414th District Court, right? Citing a news release from the league. As a result, the team of players 12 and under will be able to play Texas West tonight in Waco, with a berth in next week's Little League Baseball World Series on the line to go to South Williamsport.
And they are apparently disqualified due to an ineligible player.
Yes.
So, and I still reading about this, still trying to figure this out as we're sitting here. It was filed by somebody, and they had an ineligible player, and so now here we are. Are they going to get there? Are they not going to get there?
No, it's a guy that just got a fifth year.
Yeah,
no, I'm just kidding.
He got a fifth year. Go back to one more year of elementary school. He got a seventh year. Sorry, seventh year in elementary school. Give him that one more shot.
What are we doing?
By the way, we're 1 week away from Little League World Series itself being in Williamsport. Steve, my question to you is that player going to be sponsored by anybody? Does he have an NIL deal?
Look.
My question to you. And if so, is Texas Tech involved? I know it was in Waco, the Judge, so maybe Baylor's got some money in there somewhere.
They may not. Look, they may not even win tonight. So, it's, and believe me, you don't think the guys in South Williamsport are sitting there going, "Come on, we don't want to root against the team," but it's a major issue again that they have to deal with, and I am just. I am constantly baffled by some of the little. And this has nothing to do with the guys in South Williamsport.
Yeah.
Zero to do with them. Nothing. But why do people feel they're 11 and 12-year-olds? Why do you feel the need to cheat? I mean, State College, we all know State College got ripped off. Right, when Danny Almonte and that group beat them, that was for the championship to go to South Williamsport. They won the game 2-0.
Yeah.
Remember, Brooke Hart pitched for State College, Tom's kid. He pitched a great game. But the other kid on the other side pitching was 14 years old. Right? And you get all this mumbo-jumbo about, well, we didn't put in the birth certificate. Just stop it. Okay? Stop it. They're 11 and 12-year-olds, for goodness sakes. And you feel the need to cheat? Really?
And
it's Little League.
Yeah. Apparently, the Bourne Little League team, the one from Texas who had won the championship, it was meant to go. They, due to the forfeiture, are not playing in. There's no game expected to be in Waco. Per Don Harris of WOAI NBC down in San Antonio. Sources close to the situation tell me there will be no regional championship games tonight in Waco. Bourne Little League will not be there. They are preparing for the World Series in Williamsport and have the full backing of the legal team from Little League International. Yeah. They have no intention of honoring the temporary judgment. Little League believes it has full authority to render decisions on eligibility and forfeitures and is prepared to defend its decision. Bourne is leaving for Williamsport at the end of the week and should begin playing on Friday, August 21st. And expecting from Little League International, a statement is expected at some point today to reaffirm that Tulsa's been disqualified. Bourne is in as regional champions.
Yes.
So Bourne is going to Williamsport to play. That is the latest on, again, of all things.
The whole thing is just
Little League.
but again, why do you feel the need to do this? The Jackie Robinson Little League in the south side of Chicago. It was alleged that they took some players from other little leagues.
It's called bringing in a ringer.
They're kids. There's no money at stake.
No.
I don't understand what this mentality is about. I'm just completely baffled by all this. That somebody thinks that they have to do something nefarious because they're not good enough to get over there. Well, you're not good enough. You're not good enough. They're just kids.
Yeah.
Let them have fun. Okay, you don't need to bring in somebody.
Yeah. Steve Jones, along with this, speaking of sports fun, this past weekend the Bills debuted Highmark Stadium to all of their fans, in which they, of course, said there was no obstructed views. Everything was great, sunshine and rainbows. A large amount of Bills fans started signing petitions and posting photos of largely obstructed views of the stadium, of the field. And the Bills are addressing it. They said, we are currently addressing internal and external feedback regarding the facility's operation following the first event. We'll utilize the next 6 weeks to refine any details we prepare for the home opener on Thursday, September 17th. Because fans noticed in their seats, it was wildly obstructed views due to railings and everything in the way. And as they were told, apparently it was when they had bought their tickets, they were told, no, it's not going to be an obstructed view in your seat. Spoiler, a lot of them were. It's kind of part of it is that there are going to be views, some that may be obstructed, but apparently they were told there would be none. So it's just add that to the list of weirdness in sports. Of all things today, we're talking about these two things happening. Okay. Little League World Series teams fighting and obstructed views in stadiums. You spend $850 million of taxpayer dollars and of the Erie County and Buffalo and state of New York. Fans would like there to be good views.
Well, of course there should be. Yeah. Look, it's 2026. We should have this down by now.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, I'm watching Beaver Stadium, and they're trying to take care of that. I'll be in there on Saturday, which I don't think I've been in there since there was some advertising event. I had to go in and, wave, kiss babies, things like that.
You're going to make sure to remove the Jason Lord seat sign? Check that out of there?
Oh, no. The seat's still there.
It's in dumpster, trash can?
No. It's in the parking lot. I would never disrespect it and throw in the trash can. I mean, it's in parking lot 16 down off Porter Road. No, you should have this down by now.
Yeah.
So why this happens? I know that the Populous was involved in this, and that's Scott Radicic's group, and Scott's one of the best ever. They'll get it straightened out. It's just disappointing they have to, I'm sure it's disappointing for everybody that they have to straighten it out, but they do have to straighten it out because at this point, something like that should never be an issue. Like for those of us who have gone so many times to Fenway Park in our lifetime, of which I've gone, I don't know, somewhere, I've probably been to maybe between 50 and 75 games in Fenway Park in my lifetime. We all know there are poles.
Yeah.
Right? We all, the place was built in 1912. We get it. Right? So to hold up the upper deck, poles.
And everyone understands going into it, it's a part of it. Right? But when you're told in a brand new stadium, it's not going to be an issue, and it's a glaring problem.
You do know that there are obstructed views, and you are told on the ticket it's an obstructed view. In 2026, a brand new stadium is built in such a way where there should be no obstructed views, okay? Because you don't use the same technology to build and the same materials to build as you used in 1912. And just logic comes into play.
And Steve Jones, I do also want to get your thoughts on, so with the fifth-year injunctions taking place, of course, last week you discussed Josh Reed returning to Penn State men's basketball for this coming season. There are a lot of players all across the nation who are currently returning to their programs.
Again, remember, the difference between this and what Josh Reed got. Josh Reed got a local judge. He was one of the 15 players, a local judge in Cincinnati. What changed everything was when the judge in Colorado, who's a federal judge.
District court judge.
Right? Federal. Okay? That's different. So a federal as opposed to a local injunction. Well, now that opens up the door for everybody across the board, including, for example, a Levi Haynes who may want to come back for a fifth year. He'd be eligible for it. Carson Hansen, for example, he saw him interviewed last night on BTN. He says, here for my last year. He says, well, maybe it's not my last year with the fifth year thing, right? So it does change across the board, but the NCAA is just baffling beyond words. Okay, does anybody in the room, when they sit down to do these things, say, hey, by the way, I think we're going to, if we don't make this retroactive to the players who played this past season, we're going to run into lawsuits. Oh, we won't do that. It'll be fine. No, we'll win. Which one of you, over the decades, which one of you won?
And for those
you're for life in court.
Like, I'll give you one example. Of course, we discussed Josh Reed. Indiana football has added 2 defensive edges. Yeah. Kellen Wyatt and Stephen Daly have both apparently returned to the team because they are both fifth-year pieces.
They'll both end up being depth pieces in all likelihood. Wyatt's going to take a while before he gets back.
But Daly was heavily involved.
He practiced, but he's struggling early on. And part of it's to get back into shape and so forth, into game shape. And he'll eventually get there. And but you put the 5-year rule in. And what did they expect?
I don't know.
What did they expect?
I really don't know.
That you wouldn't have guys, women, say, hey, look, I played my 4 years. Now you're giving 5. Right? You're doing it now. Of course they should get an opportunity to play.
I know Darian Williams returning to Texas Tech in basketball. He's back for another year. I know,
in basketball, you have room to operate.
But it's
most programs, and again, I've done the workup on every team that Penn State's going to play. All right. The reason the non-conference schedule is not out yet, and is because there's one game still has not been finalized. That's why. But I've done the workup on everybody. Everybody has 12 to 13 scholarship players. So everybody, because now you're allowed 15 scholarships, actually has scholarship room. So that part is not the issue. It's whether you have the money to then get said player. Jackson Kohler, for example, is in an interesting spot between BYU, Kansas, Kentucky. Kohler's a good player. He's not going to go back to Michigan State.
No.
Trey Holloman, hey, I'd like to go back to Michigan State. Left on bad terms, is not returning on any terms. No. So that's not going to happen.
And that's why you don't burn a bridge,
right?
Ladies and gentlemen.
And he burned it, all right? And it's like scorched earth, you're done. Yeah. But that's what's going to happen. And the fifth-year players, this will be 1 year. After that, there'll be no...
It'll be all...
Right? Everything will be in play. It's a transition year on the fifth-year part. Now... How does it then play out with other guys? Like Cooper Cousins, who came into this year with 2 years of eligibility remaining, now has 3. Carson Hansen has another year if he wants to do it. Tony Rojas has another year if he wants to do it. I mean, they have to make the decision as to whether, like, hey, go on.
Go to pro, or you're going to stay.
Right, pro, stay, portal, something. They have to make that decision. But I don't understand how the people in the NCAA work. They act like they act like they're shocked every time something like this happens. You sit back and go, "What? You didn't think of this?" I mean, we're just simple talk show people in the middle of central Pennsylvania, for God's sakes. We thought of all these things. You didn't? Yeah, I mean, like, as soon as it came out, I said, by the way, you're going to have people challenging this in court. That's the first thing we said. I mean, I'm just a simple shepherd here in the middle of Pennsylvania. What the heck?
Again, I think Steve Jones for NCAA commissioner.
I'm baffled by this stuff. Where you've got all these high-powered people in a room, and they just think, no, we'll be fine. You're not fine.
What's the worst thing that could happen, Steve? The NCAA has never messed up anything in its entire existence.
God's sakes, everybody knows they're 0 for life in court. I don't know if it... I think it's it might end up being a combination of the fact that they're wrong about everything and there's no attorney group on the face of the earth that can help them. I mean, there's no common sense in that building.
No.
There's no common sense in that building. I don't understand it. It's almost like they have no... I was told by a good friend of mine, right, that I trust, that knows people that work at the NCAA.
Okay.
He told me that the disconnect between the first floor and the second floor is unbelievable. That on one floor you got people work. I mean, they just bust their backside doing the best they can in their jobs and for the championships and for the schools and so forth. And then the other floor, like, there's a total disconnect.
Yeah. And
it's that floor where all the issues are.
Yeah.
Where it's the problem that you have is that you want to pull them aside and say, stop thinking you're only hurting the ball club. Mm-hmm. Because every time they attempt to think, they don't think things through. There are unintended consequences when you make decisions. It's your job to sit down in the room and brainstorm all the unintended consequences so that you have solutions for them. Mm-hmm. And sometimes the unintended consequences may not have a solution, but at least you talked it out.
Yeah. And you know what you don't need to think about, at least, Steve? Is where to get your Penn State gear or to grab some food or basically anything.
Let's go to McClanahan's, baby.
The Penn State room, they got everything for you. Shout out to them sponsoring the show here with Sports Talk with Steve Jones.
Thank you for listening to Sports Talk with Steve Jones, a 7 Mountain Media production. Come back at 11 every weekday for analysis of the latest happening in the sports landscape. From college football to European soccer, Steve and Kyle cover it all on Sports Talk with Steve Jones.